Okay, so let's go into some secrets about website conversion, because a lot of people get hung up on this and they think they have to have something so crazy to be able to make this stuff work. You don't. I'll show you these are some of the pages that I use to test everything. And I pulled up just a random example from something that we did like a couple years ago. But it worked, right? This is literally a black and white page with the most simple headline on it ever. And it worked like crazy. I think it converted at like 50% or something. And it's because it doesn't have a bunch of flashy colors. It doesn't have my face on it or something to distract people. They just see the message, they see the opt-in, and they say, do I want that free video? Sure, I do. I want to see what that video is, and they opt in. And some of the biggest things about this page to note is the word free, asking a question. Okay, this is another huge one that I've tested over and over and over again, and it always works, is always ask somebody a question, right? Based around the benefit and the result they want to get. But in this example, the result that we're selling is, hey, do you want to make $10,000 per month in the next 90 days? It's a question. It's not, I'm going to show you how to make that much money in 90 days. The statement never out-converts the question. I've tested it like a million times. So if that's just something to note. And then using free is huge. So you see on the page, twice we use free on the page, and it works really well. And then it goes from there to this sales page. Simplest black and white sales page ever. It literally has the exact same headline. It's congruent. So, and obviously you don't need to copy this headline. You want to tailor it to whatever you guys are doing. This was just a random example, but you see that it's exactly the same, right? The headline on the capture page, the headline on the sales page are exactly the same. It's literally nothing but a video. And there isn't even, while they're watching the video, there isn't even a button. All they can do is watch a video with the exact same headline, and they're going to watch it all the way through. So that's what I use to test. And then once I use that to test, I'll build it out and I'll add a little bit more flash to it and timers and things like that. But if you want to get your idea out there fast and test it, use this. Use something just ridiculously simple. You can pay somebody, if you don't know how to do code and design or something like that, you could pay somebody on $5 or $10 to create websites like that. So there's no excuse to I don't know how to do that. It's just go to Fiverr and say, hey, I need a website with a video and a headline and a button, and somebody will do it for $10. So there's really cheap ways to get things like that done and test them without spending a lot of money. So the capture page, always give away something for free. If you're trying to get somebody's email, there's a couple different things you can do. You can do video and no video. So this is kind of the way I look at it. I see a lot of people do capture pages with videos. And the only reason that you would do that, in my opinion, is if you're paying for leads, not clicks. So a lot of people, if you're out on Facebook, you're paying for clicks. If you're going to a solo ad provider, you're paying them for clicks. You're not paying them for leads. So you want to maximize the amount of leads that you get, then you don't have a video on the page. You just literally have a headline, email opt-in box, and take them to the next page so that you can capture the most people, and then you show them a video. Now, if you're paying for leads, that's where you would have a video, because then they'll watch the video first, and you'll get more qualified people that come through the page. Does that make sense to everybody? I know it's a little confusing. I'm trying not to get too technical, but it's kind of hard with some of this stuff. And then the biggest thing too is always call to action, right? Tell them what to do. If they just see a headline and an email on the page, they're less likely to opt in than if you say, enter your email below to get the free video. Always have something on the page that tells them what to do, besides just a button, that's there. So it's a really important thing as well. On the sales page, so the sales page that you saw before, that was the really simple version. Once you upgrade the sales page, there's 3 things that you want to make sure you have on it. Congruency is key, right? From capture page to sales page, we've already said that. Scarcity, which basically means that there's a limited amount of time of some kind. So you have a timer on the page that says, hey, this offer is only going to be available for the next 24 hours, whatever it is, something to get them to act now rather than putting it off till tomorrow or till next week or whatever it is. So always have something that gets them to act now. And then always have something that makes them feel secure. So if it's, for example, you put the little badges that say McAfee secure, or this website is secure, we're not going to spam you with emails. Sometimes people put that on their page if it's a capture page. So that little security that gets that out of their head that you're going to scam them is really important as well. Because people just think that way online. You could be giving them something for free that's going to completely change their life, and they're like, oh, this is a scam. This is not, can't be real, But if you give them that little hint of security, they're like, okay, well, they at least acknowledged that I was feeling that way, right? So these are the key things that I always make sure are there. There's a lot of other stuff that you can do, little tricks and things that you can try, but the most important pieces are that you have an irresistible offer, which basically just means that you have an offer that's going to get somebody the result that they want, right? You say, hey, I'm going to help you lose 10 pounds in 7 days, and if you don't do it, I'll give you your money back. That's an irresistible offer, right? It's simple enough. It's like, hey, I'm going to give you the result you want. If you don't get it, you can have your money, So that's how you craft just a really simple way to craft an irresistible offer. And obviously you can add a lot more stuff on top of that, but that's just a simple way. Testimonials. This is the biggest key to selling anything. When you see some of the stuff that I'm going to show you later, I literally almost always start with testimonials first, so that people see the social proof that, hey, whatever this guy is offering, whatever he was just telling me that he was going to give me actually works. And then once they see that it actually works, they're a lot more likely to at least watch the video, because a lot of people, it's just short attention span. They don't even watch the videos anymore. So until you prove it to them, they won't even watch. So you might as well just prove it to them right away and play a minute worth of testimonials of people saying, hey, this guy is great, he knows what he's doing, and then pass them off to your message that actually does the selling. The next thing, price conditioning. So price conditioning is where you offer something up for a specific price and you build the value around that price. So you say, hey, this is going to be $97 a month. That's what we normally offer it for. 1 million people have paid that price already, but today only, if you act before the timer runs out, you'll get it for $7, whatever it is. That's price conditioning. It's, hey, the price is normally this, but today for you, because you're on this page, it's this. If you implement that in your sales videos, you'll always get a bump. Bonuses. So this always comes after you do the price conditioning, after you present the offer, after you say, hey, here's everything you're going to get, here's the price. I know that you want it for that price, but I'm also going to add 10 other things on top of that so that you feel like you got a ridiculous value. And then you just list the bonuses, you bullet them out and say, hey, I'm going to give you this, 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 and this when you buy in the next 30 seconds, whatever it is. Scarcity, so we kind of already talked about this. Scarcity is just getting them to act based on some kind of a time frame or some kind of, maybe there's a limited amount of them actually available. Maybe there's only 10 packages available. You tell them, hey, there's only 10 packages available, and put on the page how many packages are left. That's a perfect example of scarcity that works really well. The other example is put a timer on the page that's counting down to when the offer is not going to be available. If it's only available for 24 hours or 7 days or whatever it is, it's good to run offers in short periods of time, especially like in a business like Digital Altitude where you're building an email list. And some people will sit on that email list for a long time and they'll just watch your messages, right? And they'll just watch them and they'll see what you're doing and they'll see if it's working for people and all this stuff. But until you actually say, you're going to get this amazing offer if you join in this specific amount of time, they just won't join. Like they will just sit there and watch until you actually give them an offer and say you need to join by this day, and you hammer them with emails and say join today because it's closing and you'll never see it again. As soon as you do that, you'll get way more people to actually take up the offer. And it's human nature. That's just what we do, right? We sit there and we wait and we procrastinate until somebody like slams it in our face and says you have to do this right now. And then you finally do it. Last one, risk reversal. Okay, so it's kind of like the security thing we talked about earlier, where you just make people feel like they have nothing to lose, right? You're going to join this thing. It has a money-back guarantee, and if you don't make money or you don't lose weight or whatever it is, I'll give you all your money back plus something else maybe. It's like you can even add other things on there to even strengthen the offer even more. I've seen people do 200% money-back guarantees, crazy stuff. But the reality is, even though if you do a money-back guarantee, only 5% of the people are ever going to take you up on it. So it's not a big deal to add it in there, but it always gives that person that feeling of that they have the security to make the purchase and they can get their money back, that you care enough about it and you feel like it's a good enough product that you can get their money back if it doesn't work out for them. So upsells. So after you make that initial sale, the most important part about upsells is just that it's the next logical step. That's it. So if they, like for example, they purchase something that is supposed to show them how to make money in a home business, right? The next logical upsell is whatever makes doing that easier. And it's the simplest thing ever, but a lot of people miss it. They'll like sell something way out in left field. They're like, oh, you purchased this, now purchase this other thing. That you purchased this dog thing, now buy something about cats, right? And they miss that congruency of, the congruency should go all the way through, even through the upsells. Everything needs to be the logical next thing that they should be buying or the next thing that they should be doing. So if it's something like make money online, like Digital Altitude, you sell them that, the training first, and then maybe you sell them some kind of a software platform that makes it a little bit easier, or some kind of a training, or some kind of personal coaching that makes their life easier, right? I'm going to tell you exactly what I did to get results in Digital Altitude. That's the next logical upsell. So always just keep those things congruent and make it so it's if somebody's watching it, they're like, yeah, I want that next level of thing. If you want to learn more about sales funnels, here's some of the different places that I would look. Okay, the first one is Peak. Okay, so inside the Peak course in Digital Altitude, there's actually a lot more information about sales funnels. And then these are the top 2 books that I've read that kind of changed the way that I think about sales funnels and the way that I prepare them and all that stuff. .com Secrets by Russell Brunson is by far one of the best ones. He'll teach a lot of the stuff that I taught today, and then a lot more. And then he has a lot of next level information too. And then one that a lot of people don't know is predictable revenue. This is another great one. It's from the owner of Salesforce. And the reason why these guys are so good at teaching it is because they own platforms that all they do is build sales funnels, right? So Russell Brunson owns ClickFunnels. Predictable Revenue by Aaron Ross. Aaron Ross owns Salesforce. So they see more sales funnels than anybody in the world. So when they talk about them, they're speaking from like, this is exactly what works because I've seen all the numbers and I know what works. So those are the guys to go learn from, in my opinion, if you want that complete next level of information. Okay, so now this is the part you guys are gonna like. So this is actually, I'm gonna talk a lot about the actual sales funnels for Digital Altitude and what you guys can do so that you make more sales there. So the first thing with Digital Altitude is creating something that's personalized to you. Okay, so that's the biggest way that you're going to be able to make more sales, that you're going to be able to do more upsells, all that stuff is just personalizing it to yourself. So here's how you're going to create that simple sales funnel that's personalized to you. So the first thing is just simple capture page. And this is just an example, so don't just copy this, because if you copy this headline, then everyone's going to have it and it's not going to work because it's not personalized to you. So I just put it on here so that you could see an example. But free video, discover how I make money from home in only 30 minutes a day. Whatever your story is, however much money you've made, all those things, you can inject it into that headline. But the key is have something that's personalized to you if you want to take the sales to the next level. Okay, so this is just saying what needs to be on the page. It's just like that other page that I showed you. So enter your email below to learn whatever that secret is or learn how I made this much money. Any of that stuff can be on the page. Enter your best email address. I usually have a cell phone, okay, and I know, some people would tell you not to. They would say, oh, it lowers conversions and all that stuff, but why not be able to call somebody? I mean, if you're building a business, you're paying money to generate leads, why not be able to call them, text them, whatever you want to do to be able to take the relationship to the next level? It's going to raise your sales no matter what if you call every single person that comes through the sales funnel and just say, hi, I'm the person that you requested the information from. I just wanted to reach out to you and have a very simple, person-to-person conversation, not trying to sell them. That's going to raise the amount of people that will actually buy the products that you're selling. And it'll make it a lot easier when they do start purchasing from you to take the relationship to the next level as well. Get them to events like this, all that stuff. So very important to connect with people personally. I know everybody wants to hide behind the computer. I'm the most, introverted, I like to stay behind the computer type of guy ever. But I still reached out to the people on the phone to make sure that they knew who I was, all that stuff, because it increases sales every single time. And if you need to, you can hire somebody to do it. I mean, if you're really driving, your time is limited, you could hire someone to pick up the phone and call all the people for very little money. So next step, this is probably the most important step to branding yourself, is the bridge page. So you make a video. So let me see if I have it on here. Yes, I do. So you're on your video bridge page, you're actually going to, the most important thing is show your results, right? Show that you're a real person. Say, hey, this is my story. This is what I did. I came across Digital Altitude, or whatever you're selling, and describe what how much money you made, all these different things. Whatever your story is with the company, put it in there, and then just transition over to the sales video. Right? You put a button below that video that you created, they click it, takes them over to the sales video, and now they know you before they just watch a sales video. So you could put anything in there. You could say, hey, if you join my team, I'm going to get on a call with you, and I'm going to show you exactly what I did to make my first $1,000, whatever it is. You can put all kinds of stuff like that in the sales video. Before they ever see the sales video, they'll see you offering them a special bonus, offering them some kind of personal touch that actually makes it more powerful than them just watching a sales video. And I honestly think, so I think this is a repeat slide. Yeah, it is. Okay, I'm going to talk really briefly, before I get into the surprise for you guys, I want to talk really briefly about the upsell process. So you guys know how I showed the value ladder earlier, how we stair-step them up the process. So in Digital Altitude, they already have a value ladder built out for you, right? And really it's pretty hands-off. You can just let the coaches do the work in the value ladder and upsell those products. But what I would do, if I was building out my back end, I would make sure that every single step of that value ladder, I added some kind of a personal touch to it. some kind of a bonus, something that if they take that next step. So let's say somebody joins and they pay the $1 or they pay the $37 to get in and watch the information. Every single one of those people, I would send them some kind of a bonus that shows them how to do, like let's say it's how to make money in your first 7 days or your first whatever period of time. How I made my first $1,000 might be a good example. Say, hey, in your personal branded video that it comes before the sale, say, hey, if you join at this price point, I'm going to give you this special report that I created that shows how I made my first $1,000 in the business so that you can do it as fast as possible. As soon as they join, send them to the page that gives them that, right? Send them, have a video on it that says, hey, welcome to my team. I'm going to give you this special piece of information. It's right below the video. And guess what? If you get on the phone with the coach, you take the next step, I'm going to give you something else, right? I'm going to give you the next level of bonus that you're going to get. And you do that every step of the way, all the way until the point where you're giving them consulting and you're getting on masterminds with them and you have a group and all these things. Every single step of that process, you can give them a different level of information that helps them want to make a decision to upgrade. Or it's something that just kind of baits and gives a little bit of extra bonus and value for them taking that next step. So I would do that every single step. Once they get to Apex, obviously you have the big, crazy package that you give them because they went all in with the business and they're really serious about it. And that's the people that you give the most attention to. Those are the people that you give your cell phone number, that you have them calling you. You do all that stuff. You do a weekly mastermind with them, all that stuff. So I would take them through every step of that process.